We know Edward Cruttwell, of course, here at Tower Bridge as the resident engineer, but there was clearly much more to him. He was a private man from an important family. Tell us a little bit about his background.
He came from a well-to-do family in Frome in Somerset. His father, Wilson Clement Cruttwell, was a solicitor. He knew tragedy. He was the 10th of 11 children. 5 of his siblings died young. He was educated at Clifton College near Bristol, and then went to King's College to study engineering, as Henry Mark Brunel did. He joined R.P. Brereton as an articled pupil of Brereton's, working on Neath Harbour works, and after a couple of years with Brereton, left to join the partnership of Barry and Brunel.
So we know about Cruttwell, the engineer, his professional life. What was he as a private man? What was his convictions, his political views?
We know a surprising amount about him from his papers. At a time in the early 1900s when this wasn't common, he had 3 votes because he was a wealthy man and he had 3 houses, and he placed them at the disposal of the suffragette movement because he believed in votes for women. He worked very closely and then sponsored for the Institution of Civil Engineers, an Indian engineer.
Yeah, there was Keshav Chijamchibupati, who was also present here in our exhibition.
Indeed, yes, and I think it's great that he was working so closely with an Indian engineer at a time when perhaps, many people from a white male privileged background maybe wouldn't have done. He loved the finer things in life. He had an account at Harrods that seemed to get a lot of attention. He developed quite a property portfolio. He had a large townhouse in London. He had a country estate, a Bayfield in Leatherhead in Surrey, and his holiday home was a property called Sandy Point on Hayling Island. He owned 62 acres of Hayling Island.
Okay, tell me more about his family life, his wife, his children.
Well, he married Gwynedd Erskine here, in this photo of her with one of her beloved dogs. She was the sister of one of his best friends, George Erskine, who he had met when articled to R.P. Brereton, and they were working together on the Neath Harbour works. Edward and Gwynedd had 3 sons. They had Clement Henry, Patrick Erskine, my grandfather, and Colin Edward. The eldest, Clement, became a civil engineer, followed his father. Patrick Erskine, my grandfather, actually became an accountant and was one of the early employees of the BBC, working for Lord Reith. And Colin Edward became an electrical engineer, so a different side of the engineering profession.